there's 4 things I like about RC racing. Number 1, building the cars, a ton of fun. Number 2, racing the cars. Number 3, analyzing performance on the track with video and numbers to make things better. And number 4, tuning to see how all of that stuff changes. So today I'm going to go through my races both in the 17.5 short course truck and the buggy. These races took place yesterday, 27th of February 2021, and we'll go through them in detail. This was at Cheese City Xtreme RC in Monroe, Wisconsin. It's a clay, I'd say medium to high traction track, just from my experience, and it changes a little bit throughout the day. So let's dig straight into it. So I'm going to talk about my buggy racing yesterday first, and we have a handy dandy way to look at things. Unfortunately, my first race I was unable to get video. There was something wrong with my GoPro that I figured out later. But that doesn't mean we can't take a deep, hard look at what was going on. Looking here, this is how everything turned out. I ended up in 5th position after the qualifier, and this is what I want you to look at, this number here. So this is how you're ranked, and the first number here before the / is the number of laps you did. And the next number is the time that it took you to do it in, so that you can see that I got 13 laps in 5 minutes 22 seconds plus a little bit. And the way they can record that is there's a transponder on the car, which, let's see how that compares to the week before. So this is my first ever race, and we'll see how I did here. So you can see that between that week and this week, and I need to write this down, I did 1 lap better. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to analyze qualifying 2 with the buggy, and to do that we're going to watch everything together. Here we are.
Tyson, Elijah, Brayden Arnold, Kyle, Everson, and Wolves.
Classic.
God damn it.
I landed and let off of the throttle right away. When you let off the throttle, your car nosedives. And then of course I hit the guy in the corner. Now I'm flustered. That was not a bad corner, and neither was that one, except that I overshot it. I'm way out of the line here. See, I know where the line is. I know how to hit the apexes. I know exactly where I'm supposed to be. I just can't make the car do it consistently. Now I've picked up a bad habit where I start turning right after I've landed, and what that does is it kind of traction rolls, because the suspension is compressed and I'm getting a lot of traction. I got bumped. The guy bumped me out of alignment when I was taking off there. But you know, I shouldn't put myself in that position. See, I'm way out of the line here, and I just can't make the car go where I want it to, and that's just a novice thing. Again, I made the same mistake and no excuse that time. And nobody bumped me. I just hit the jump at the wrong angle. That was weird. Traction roll again. This is why, see, there. I just landed and I started to turn and the suspension was compressed and I was getting really good traction. And I traction rolled, which
That's never happened before. So I did something right with the setup. I'm getting traction now. It doesn't seem to be pushing as much through the corners. If anything, I have a little bit of oversteer. I don't know why I turned my wheels when I went off that jump. For some reason I turned the wheels and it hit me screwed up. Now I'm way off my line again. I just love this, having the numbers and the video, because there's no deception. Like, you either do it or you don't. You can tell exactly what you did, exactly where you did it, and exactly how things went wrong. Like right there, listen, I'm frustrated, but I didn't have enough speed going over that jump, so I nosied into the other jump, and that created some problems.
Something is really wrong with my car.
I'll just let you watch this. And I figured it out eventually. I'll show you after this. That turn marshal is awesome. Like, best turn marshal ever.
It's out. I think it's your slipper. Thanks.
Thinks it's my slipper clutch, which is possible, but unlikely.
I don't know.
Yeah, he thinks I lost opinion. I'm hoping this is something I can fix quick so I can throw it back in the race.
You're doing all right.
There it is. You can see the problem, but I didn't notice it right away. So you shouldn't be able to spin your wheels like that. You shouldn't just be able to spin them forward. They should go bit.
The fucking pinion fell off.
That was the answer.
In lap 8, this motor screw, or motor mounting screw, came undone. And I think the motor wiggled, and then eventually the pinion gear came completely off. Interestingly, the screw holding the pinion gear in place was still really tight, so I'm not sure exactly the mechanism of how that happened.
So, not to belabor the point, but I think it is worthwhile to kind of look at that, the stats from that, and just see, you know, what we could have done better, etc. So, looking at these, obviously this 7 means I finished 7 laps. My fastest lap was 18.7. Average was 24. I mean, not terrible. That second lap was pretty bad, 30 seconds. Then I started getting better. My best lap was actually the one right before I crashed. My 7th lap, you can see, was 28 seconds, and that's where I did that nosedive into the into that other jump and broke my pinion gear loose, and then there wasn't an 8th lap. So, like I said before, keep your car upright and finish the race is probably the way to get better. Between that race and the final, I thought about, you know, the problems I was having with the traction rolling, and I hadn't yet put it together that the reason that I was traction rolling was that I was landing and then turning my wheels too quickly. So I was landing really fast, and then the suspension compresses, and you've got really, really high grip. Well, if you turn at that point, what's going to happen is you're going to flip over, and I hadn't put that together yet. So I got to thinking about other things I could change to what I wanted to do was soften the front end just a little bit during turns. So there's a bunch of ways you can do that, but the way that I had time to do was to change the shock angle. So if you think about it, if your front shocks, let's just take any shock, and let's just say they're in the complete vertical position. with the shocks in the vertical position, let's look at two different things. The first is what happens when you jump and what happens when you're cornering. So if our shocks are in the vertical position and we jump and land, then all of the force of that landing is going to be put into the shock. So in a sense, what it'll be is you'll have softer landings from your jumps, for lack of a better term. But when you're cornering, the force is coming in from the side, directed towards the shocks. Well, if it's completely vertical, then what's going to happen is it's going to be very, very stiff when you go into a corner, and it's more lateral force than vertical force. So to correct that, what you can do is you can lay the shocks down a bit, and that will put more of that lateral force in cornering into the shock, and in theory soften the front end. At the same time, when you land on a jump, it's going to be a little bit stiffer. So we can watch the main and see if any of that actually happened. So here we are. Let's see. Got tangled up. Seems to be landing all right. And it does seem to be cornering a little better.
That was nice and clean.
I went off that jump. That back jump there is really a problem. You end up, if you don't go off of that absolutely straight, you'll crash, because you'll land and you'll traction roll there. And that was a problem I was having all day. Here I'm not doing so bad. Again, got squirrely off of that jump. Car got out of control. Actually, I'm looking pretty good here, so I think that I let off the throttle. Again, if you let off the throttle, what's going to happen is you're going to nosedive. I let off the throttle probably because I was going to overshoot that jump, and I got tangled up in traffic there. There's not much I can do there. That was my fault. I nosied the jump. There I traction rolled. My fault again. Looks like I'm taking it a little bit more conservative here, and I bet you I'm faster than my previous races and qualifiers. Except right there, I tried to turn too quickly after I landed. Now I'm frustrated. I should not have hit that pipe. Got hung up there. I don't know what's going on, why when I'm in a jump I go squirrely in the air. I think I must be turning my wheels or something. Now I'm frustrated and my driving is crap.
2 minutes down, 3 to go, 2 down, 3 to go.
Now see, he got right up in my shit there. It wasn't 100% my fault. They tend to, that was my fault. I overshot. There tends to be a lot of contact the further down the rankings you go. So this is the B main, and a lot of this stuff didn't happen in the A main. I'm still kind of traction rolling there. The car does seem to be landing and behaving better, except for obviously right there. Now I'm frustrated to hear it. Just getting squirrely. If you get in that thing the wrong way, like I said, Jesus. Nosy. God, I'm just really stinking it up. That guy went off the track. He was so mad. I need to practice that back jump there, getting out of that corner and hitting it square. There I didn't do too bad. Overshot. I'm out of my line. I mean, obviously I know where I should be. See, when I hit that top, I'm like spinning out. Like I tend to oversteer a little bit on the corners. Yeah, that was a decent corner. The car's behaving well, but I'm just driving shitty. I let that guy pass because he's the leader. Like if it's rude if somebody's like laps ahead of you. If you don't let them pass, it's kind of a jerky thing. So there's a lot of times you'll see where I'm just letting people do their thing. I got tangled up. That was totally my fault. There's plenty of times when people screwed with me. And see, I didn't want to cut the track. I could have cut the track though, but I didn't. I could have just turned around and went the other way. Now I'm going to get tangled up, I guarantee it. Nope, guess not. And I actually did that back section decent. Traction roll, bounced around. Alright, so not terrible. We'll take and let's take a minute and see if we can look at our stuff. So here's the B main. I started out in last position with a 13.522. That means my best qualifier was 13 laps with a 522. And let's see how we did here. So I would have lost, except that this guy's car bugged out after 2 laps. So I wasn't in last place. I was in second to last place because I was able to keep my car alive that time. Let's look and see how that all breaks down. You know, I had real stinker lap there. Had 2 real stinker laps. Anything above like 25 for me is real shit. So actually I had a few stinker laps. So it was there, and my last lap wasn't so great, to be honest. But my second to the last lap was pretty good. Not very consistent. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to keep this line somewhere in here. So now that we've looked at the buggy races, we're going to move on and take a look at the short course, and there's a big difference. So now look at the short course trucks. So it's rear wheel drive, just to make that clear, because they do run 2 classes. They run a 4x4 and a rear wheel drive. And I decided to start with the rear wheel drive because they're a little bit harder to control, and I thought I could learn a little bit more control on the track. And everything I'm going to learn now, I think, will apply later, which is, again, why I started with the buggy. After my first race, I was watching the short course trucks, and wow, the difference is amazing in the handling and the driving and everything like that. There's a reason that the Traxxas Slash is like the most popular RC car in the world. They're easy to drive. Of course, those are 4-wheel drive. Anyway, so let's look at our qualifying round with the short course truck. And here we go.
Hunter, Jack, Peterson, Corey, Kyle, and Tyson.
Got out of it there. Now that, I want to pause it. So you see what happened there? When I jumped, I accidentally landed here. And technically I'm cutting out a huge section of the track. Now, why didn't I go back in and do it? why didn't I go back over? Well, because I'm going to create a traffic hazard for everybody else that's coming. And this is literally the first time I've driven that car in a race. And I was absolutely certain that it wasn't going to make any difference if I cut a thing, because that lap is, everybody's so much better of a driver that it wasn't going to make any difference. But what would make a difference is if I got back in, tried to go backwards and repeat the track and be in everybody's way. Split-second decision, but technically that's cheating.
Race number 13, our second heat of 17.5 short course.
Landing a little clunky there. Still trying to get used to the truck here. See, they're a little bit slower and they're heavier, and they just seem to corner a lot better. They use the suspension, like look at how much it dips down in that corner, how much lean there is in the suspension. It's just a easier truck to drive. Oops. Hit the corner there. Yeah, so I haven't seen this, so I'm watching this the first time with you. Yeah, a little bit of oversteer there. Oh, he bumped me. That's alright.
Damn it.
I think at this point I'm in position 4, so I'm like actually not doing terrible. That's that back jump. If you hit that thing wrong, you're toast. If you don't hit that perfectly straight on, your car is going to go wonky. I'm not driving terrible. Like, I'm driving this better, I think, than I drive the Buggy. That's not bad at all. I'm not doing bad at all when I'm driving. Not great. Now, see, that was a decent corner. Could have been a little bit further on the inside towards the apex, but I'll take it. And that was good too. Oh, a little bit wide there. I'll take it. Doing good. A little oversteer. I'll have to see what I can do about that. Of course, these are brand new tires. That's the other thing, is most of these guys take like sandpaper and drill and like file their tires down. And slicks are like, what they're doing essentially is making a semi-slick tire. And I just kind of want to see how a set of tires wears. Because I don't really care. I don't think the tires are going to make a huge difference for me. And I kind of want to learn, you know, what the wear pattern is in the tire. So if I want to wear a tire in using a drill, I want to know like what the pattern is. How am I going to learn that if I just take a drill and just copy somebody's YouTube video? Yeah, they had to learn it somewhere. Driving not terrible. I've done worse. Now see, this really fucking pissed me off, right? Watch this. Okay, guy's standing out in the middle of the track. Like, what are you standing there for, right? And this really threw me off.
Oh, damn it. Get off the track.
See? Look, he's like right in the middle of the track. So here I am. He steps into my way, right? And so I try to like get around him. Try to go inside here to avoid him, and I got into the thing. This actually kind of pissed me off.
Oh, damn
like,
it.
what are you doing fucking standing there? Why were you standing there? Now I'm getting frustrated. Sorry about my language. That was my fault. I tend to cut that inside a little bit too much. There he is in the middle of the track again. Get out of the goddamn track. What's wrong with you? That was my fault. Again, I'm frustrated and I'm getting sloppy. Finally, he's off the track. 2 laps later, he's out of the track.
30 seconds left to go. Justin Anderson out front. Chad Prager to 2. Hunter 3. Tyson 4. Corey 5. Kyle 6. Brian 7.
I'm doing better than somebody. And honestly, I'm not terribly upset with the driving here. Traction roll, that's that thing, remember I told you, I'm not terribly upset with the driving. For the first ever time racing it, and I'd literally spent 20 minutes practicing with this car before this race. Now I'm going, God damn it. There he is in the middle of the track again. Ooh, I'm going to walk in the middle of the road. Yeah, so sorry I got a little bit huffy there. I guess it's my prerogative. So let's just go and look at the stats for that race. So for qualifying round 1, I was in short course 2. We'll see how we did here. So I did, look at this, see right there, right straight out of the bat, I'm a lap faster than I am with a Buggy, and it's just the car. And so let's take just a quick look here. So that was that 17, that was that lap that I cut part of the track. Look at this, look at this, look at that. 85%, actually almost 86% consistency, and that's good. My average is 22.5, which is way faster than my average with the other car, the Buggy. And you know, if you exclude this cheater lap and you just kind of look, I mean, there's a couple standout laps, but it's pretty consistently around the, you know, the 22, 23. Sometimes I do a lot better, like that was a good lap and that was a legit lap. So doing decent now. So why is the consistency so important? Well, look at this. So the guys that finish towards the top are in the high 80s to 90s. Like this guy, he got a bunch more laps than I did. And his consistency is better than mine. So if you look at his thing, well, he had some stinker, but his stinker laps are my good laps. You know, so he's just way faster than I am, but he's also more consistent. So that consistency number is something we're going to work on. So let's look at Qualifier 2. Unfortunately, there was a malfunction with my camera, so we're just going to have to look at the data and see how things went. So I was in Heat 1. I started in the 5th position, and it looks like I dropped a couple. This guy, I think his truck broke in the first race. I got a lap slower on this, which is crazy. I'm throwing that lap out. I don't know what happened there. 84, I mean, better. Average lap is 23, which is faster than my Buggy. I can't really say I'm too upset with it. You know, throw that first lap out and look at that. You know, it's pretty consistent performance, and that's about all I can ask. Let's look and see how the final went. All right, and now for our main event. My favorite part of the night. Anyway, I haven't seen this, so let's watch this together and go.
2 drops, so it's going to give you some better rounds coming up. This is our B-main 75 short course. Top 2 drivers will bump. All right, listen out all the Marshall spots covered. Thank you very much. Marshall's ready, drivers ready. Listen for the tone.
Good start for me. Got some land on me. Good start. I got tangled up. And then he pitted me. Now I'm in last place. Now we'll see how that shakes out. I accidentally cut a portion of the track there. Not in last place here. I'm just all over the place. I think I'm frustrated or something. I'm about to get lapped. See that clear car? He was fast as hell. He was really good. So I tried to stay out of his way throughout the race. Ooh! Cut it. Traction I'm going to have to solve that issue. Or at least figure out what I can do to make it a little better. So he's going to lap me, so I just let him go. He's just fast. Just way better than I am. So I'm legit not in last place here.
Alright, well, there you go. Josh Green, Corey's going to mess up with the leader there. That is a leader behind you, Corey.
That guy, watch that orange and blue car. He and I battled the whole race to see who was going to be in last. And if I remember right, there's somewhat of a photo finish to this. So now he's ahead. Let's see if I can catch him. He makes mistakes like I do. All I have to do is keep my car upright and make less mistakes. See that orange truck? That's my friend, and he's about to lap me. He just, for some reason, I'll have to rewatch this, but he was on fire, because this is his first race with short course, too. He's raced LRC, but he just literally built that car. So here comes the leader. I'm going to let him by.
75 short course, race 8, B-main Qualifier short course, 0 minutes. Josh Pink still out front, y'all clear. Looks like Tyson's going to pull this one with some issues.
There, I let him by. So he's lapped me twice. That's how good that guy is.
5 trucks.
Driving all right here, gotta say. Not terrible. It'll be interesting to see what the stats show. And so far, I feel good about most of my racing. I'm about to catch the guy. So I was in last place here, and I'm about to catch that guy. Ooh, a couple cars must have dropped already. There, I got him. Just stayed on his butt long enough.
Josh can hold on. We can review both bumps in the show. What do you think? Now, and Brian mentioned number 2 driver, Corey, reminds you. Corey's in the
I'm gonna let him by. Yeah, I let him by. I didn't know he was the number 2 guy. It's hard, like, keeping track if they don't tell you. I knew that clear car was going to be fast as hell. So now what I'm going to try to do is just follow this guy and see if I can kind of keep up with him a little bit. Just try to follow his lines. I got way out of it there, but I was just trying to see if I could, now I'm not. I was just trying to see how well I could keep up with that guy. I'm going to let him by. Oh!
Sorry.
Yeah, but I was in your way. You've lapped me 3 times. He said, oh, I hit you, and I'm like, yeah, but I was in your way. You kind of got to find a good spot to let somebody by. So I think he's ahead of me. Now let's see if I remember this right, there's a photo finish. Yeah, there it is. Bam! I want to watch that again. I got him there at the end. Let's watch that again. 3 times. So he passed me. At this point, he's way ahead of me, so I'm trying to catch him again. I'm really going to have to do some good driving to stay ahead of him. Yeah, he flipped there. That was his problem. Took him on the inside. Bam. Photo finish. All right, so that was pretty fun. So let's take and look at the stats from that, shall we? So I was in the B main. I started in 6th position. There were 8 racers. This guy sits on my bench to the left, and this guy sits on the bench to the right. By this point, this guy decided he was going to go on a date with his wife. And this guy was always just a tiny bit faster than me. He consistently was ahead of me the whole day. Just by a little bit, though. So let's see how it turned out. Now look at that. See that? 2 of these guys didn't show up, and this guy, his car bugged out. And so I started, what did I start in? I started in 6th place. And because of a dropout and because 2 guys left, I ended up in 4th place, which I'm actually really happy with. I ran 14 laps. Fastest lap was 19. That's okay. Wasn't super consistent, but look at this guy. See, this is why I'm harping on the consistency. The guy who finished first did 3 more laps than me. Remember I said you've lapped me 3 times? He's at 93% consistency. Look at his stuff, right? He had 1 stinker lap, and his stinker lap is like better than most of my laps. So he's really consistent, and that's why he's so good. He's just fast, you know. This is my friend. He did really well. He had a little bit more consistency than me, and that's probably, he had a stinker lap too. He had a couple stinker laps. But he's more consistent, and that's probably one of the reasons why he caught me. This guy is more consistent. That guy that I beat at the end, he's probably just more consistently slow. Let's see what his average lap is. 22. Fast lap is 19, but he's consistent, you know. Let's see how I did. Average lap is 22, and I'm less consistent, so I can't really explain that. Let's look at our individual laps here. See, look at how nice that is. You know, if you throw out this stinker lap, the second to the last lap, which was 32 seconds, if it had been in here, my consistency would have been a lot better. My last lap was actually my fastest lap, and that's the lap where I caught up to that guy. So, I mean, I can't complain. I mean, this is a lot better finish, and I'm driving this short course truck a lot better than I'm driving anything else. So to wrap up, I had a great time. I mean, you don't have to finish first. Like I said, the things I enjoy are building the car, racing the car, analyzing the performance, and tuning the car. And I got to do all of those things with this race. Had a great time hanging out with the guys to the left and right of me. Got some drama in the races. The food today was a walking taco was the special, and so I didn't eat it, and I kind of went hungry. Oh well. But yeah, I mean, I had a great time. Things I'm going to work on for my next race is a big race actually. It's the 20th of March, and people come in from all over the Midwest for that one. So, and it's like a 2-day race, so that'll be fun. Should be some interesting competition, and we'll see. I'm thinking I'm not going to do as well because the people that travel, if you're spending money on traveling to RC tracks, you're probably a lot better than I am. You're certainly not a beginner racer. So what am I going to work on? I have a set of slicks for the Buggy that I've never tried. I want to try those slicks out in practice and compare them to the traction tires. I don't know that it'll make a huge difference, but I at least want to see if one is different than the other. And same thing with the short course. I want to build a set of slick tires and just see how different it is. See if it's something I like. You know, almost everybody that runs out there runs a tire that's worn down and is mostly slick, but has some tractions on the outer edges of the tire. So there's got to be something. I mean, I may not be able to tell a difference between, you know, a worn tire and a highly traction tire, but I think I might be able to tell the difference between a slick and a highly traction tire. So we'll see. I have 2 practices, and I'm gonna between now and then, and I'm really gonna try to make use of those and see if I can make some improvements. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm always curious. If you guys see things that I don't, just mention them in the comments. I'm still very much learning. This is only my 2nd race ever. And any help you can give would be great. Thanks a bunch. Bye.